Hey everyone, Big Pauly back for a new video. This week sees the theatrical release of M. Night Shyamalan's new blockbuster, I hope, Glass, which is the third film in the Glass trilogy. But I thought it might be nice to go back and revisit the previous two films. Unbreakable, which I haven't seen in quite a few years, and also Split, which was from 2016. So yes, I'm going to watch both films back to back. I'm going to start with Unbreakable and Split, and then I shall be ready for some Glass action. I won't say I'll be ready for glassing, because that's a bit wrong. But yes, I'll be ready for the new film this coming Friday the 18th, which I'll be watching and reviewing. If anybody hasn't seen these movies, where have you been? Brilliant film. This is one of M. Night's most brilliant films from the early part of his career. And he was just fresh off The Sixth Sense. Stars Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. Bruce Willis plays David Dunn. It's funny because I've got a chap in my office called David Dunn from South Africa. But he doesn't look anything... Oh, actually, he does a little bit look like Bruce. They both got no hair. Yes, it's about Bruce Willis's character, David Dunn, who is the sole survivor of this massive, horrific train crash. People want to know why he hasn't got any scratches on him. And also Elijah, played by Samuel L. Jackson, who's this comic book nerd that's got a very brittle bone disease. You know, it's easy to break his bones. And he kind of like sets out to try and, you know, find the opposite of him. You know, if he's got this disease where he can easily break bones and he's so fragile, there must be someone somewhere that has the complete opposite effect. Literally a superhero. So yes, I'm going to watch that one first. And then straight afterwards, we're putting some James McAvoy on. This was absolutely brilliant. This was a return to the brilliant style of M. Night Shyamalan. Now, I had no problem with the other ones that people don't like The Village and Lady in the Water. I still love those movies. Not The Last Airbender's barely tolerable, and After Earth, I don't think we'll even go there. But yes, this was a true return to the original form, the original format. So I am so happy that he went back. I think he may have took a couple of years off to kind of like look at his life and find out what went wrong, and to try and evaluate where can I pick up. Why did I create such great movies, and then what happened? But yes, I am looking forward to this. Again, I've only seen this once, which was its first theatrical release in 2016. So I haven't actually seen the Blu-ray, so that'd be really nice to go back and watch this. And it also stars Anya Taylor-Joy, who basically, this character, Kevin, who has all these multiple personalities, kidnaps a couple of teenage girls and holds them in like a basement. But we get to see each of these personalities. We don't see all 23, but we get to see all of these personalities. And there's one called the Beast, which is kind of like the big one, you know, the overall one. It's very kind of claustrophobic as well. And I think it's the reason why Lulu didn't want to see it. Because she saw like being held captive, these teenage girls being held captive. I mean, I'm going to see it on my own on Friday, but Lulu wants to see it as well. But Lulu is going to see Glass with no interest in watching Split. So that's going to be a very interesting perspective on if she puts the pieces together. But she is missing out on a great cameo at the end of Split, which took us all by surprise. And that kind of like guaranteed that there was going to be another movie that crossed all these boundaries. Look at me, crossed all these boundaries. So anyway, without further ado, let us stick on Unbreakable, followed by Split, and then I shall give you a little further review and a further analysis afterwards, kind of like watching them fresh again. So I shall see you probably in about 4 hours. Oh God. Anyway, I'm going to stick them in the Blu-ray player now and start an Unbreakable. So see you in a bit. Hey everyone. Okay, bad news. I've got no power going to my Blu-ray player in the cinema room here whatsoever. It's a Panasonic DMT 700. 4K upscale THX machine. No power whatsoever. I've replaced the fuse, swapped the cable. Everything else is working. Everything is all plugged into the kind of like the same power consumption thing. I've switched it about, taken out a few things, but no power going into it whatsoever, into my multi-region player, which I've had for about 4 years. So I don't know I'm thinking probably I'm going to have to maybe send it back to Panasonic and get it replaced. Well, not replaced because it's like 4 years old, but it's going to have to be repaired, and it's probably, I don't know. I don't know how much these kind of things cost to repair. I've tried Googling it and even YouTubing it, but I can't find any problems with this model of Blu-ray player or how to possibly resolve a powerless player, whether it's something internal. I've swapped the fuse out in the plug, but that doesn't do anything as well. So I don't know if I'm going to get these two films on now, but I'm going to have a look. I'm going to have to stream it. It's the future, isn't it? It's the future. So yes, so player's fucked. Going to have to try and stream it. Don't know if any of these are available on maybe Netflix or Amazon. I'll have a look. If not, then I'll have to watch them on Sky. Yeah. Okie dokie. Right. Okay. I'll see what there is, and I'll let you know in a little while. Hey everyone. So this is the next day. Yeah, that was a long movie marathon. No, because of the player problems, I couldn't get my player to work whatsoever. Still totally dead. So in the end, I ended up watching Unbreakable on Sky Q. Yeah, I know picture quality is not going to be good, but hopefully I'm getting things resolved. At the moment, I went up to the storeroom this morning, picked up one of my old Blu-ray players that I used to have in the bedroom about 8 years ago. It's like a 2.1 Blu-ray player. It's another Panasonic, but it came with a couple of speakers. It came with like two left speaker, right speaker, and a subwoofer. But I haven't bothered connecting those speakers because I've got it connected up with the HDMI in the back, and it was also a 3D player, so that's pretty good. Now my my BDP, I think it's BDT, yeah, the BDT 700, which I've used in here, is THX certified. I managed to get the box from the storeroom, plus also the receipt from where I bought it, and it appears I only bought it 2.5 years ago from this company in Northamptonshire, and most of their Blu-ray players say it comes with 3-year warranty. So I've emailed them, waiting to hear back from them. It might be possible to send that back to them and for them to get it repaired, because they're the ones who did the modification inside for the multi-region as well. So I could be good, could be looking good, and it might not cost me a lot. So I'll keep you updated on that anyway. At the moment, as I say, I've dug out my old Panasonic, which I haven't used for God knows how long. I've tested it. I've tested it with the Blu-rays. I've tested it with the 3D. And do you know what? I can't see any sodding difference. It's strange. I can't see any difference with the 700 player. The 3D picture is stunning. as just as stunning as it was with the 700. Blu-ray, yeah. To be perfectly honest, I cannot tell the difference. I didn't think it would decode like Dolby Atmos and DTS-X, but it's decoding it, or it's running it through the amp and it's decoding it. So I'm still getting Dolby Atmos on an 8-year-old Blu-ray player. So that's probably the amp just handling everything. But yeah, so everything's going okay at the moment. So that's going to be my Blu-ray player for the time being in the cinema room. I would like to get my 700 back. Hopefully get it replaced or repaired, but we'll see. If it turns out it's going to be too expensive, I might just maybe have to sell it for parts. It's no good me opening it up. I'm not very technically minded, that kind of thing, and soldering skills and all that. If I have to do it, that's not me. So I have seen a similar Blu-ray player on Amazon for £79, which is also a Panasonic. So it might be possible to get that one. But anyway, let's go back to what I watched yesterday, which was Unbreakable. Absolutely brilliant. Loved it. There's a lot of scenes in that I kind of like forgotten about. So not particular scenes, but effects in the actual film itself, such as when Bruce is on the train at the beginning. And just before the crash is happening, when the train's starting to shake, he, in slow motion, he turns and faces the camera. Everything is still. There's no camera movement. It's a very still panning. And then the whole thing goes bright. So it's very effective. And also when Samuel L. Jackson's chasing the perk from the stadium, and he's confronted by the steps in the underground station, and he's trying to get down the steps, and he's kind of like skipping down, trying to stop himself from falling, and he slips and drops his cane. And I completely forgot that his cane is actually glass, which is that's kind of good. and then as soon as it hits the floor, it shatters and goes all over the place. But yes, a really good film. I loved the chemistry between Bruce's character, Robin Wright Penn. They're they're estranged, even though they were like high school lovers and all that, after his accident that put an end to his football career. Plus also the kid, I can't remember his name, Spencer something Treat, I think it is. He must be, I don't know, he must be in his 30s maybe now. But it's very minimal acting from him, but he's got a very emotional face, especially towards the end of the film. So yeah, that was a good. Sometimes you don't really like children in movies; they can be a bit annoying. But he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant in this film. And of course, you get that really fantastic scene towards the end of the movie with the house and the railway worker. The garbage bloke that's tied all this family up in the house, and Bruce, goes there because he has one of these visions after touching him, and becomes the superhero. And there's one particular scene I really love, and I get shivers every time. It's when he gets knocked out of the bedroom window, and falls in the pool on that mat. When he gets out, he's helped out with that pole. When he gets out, and he pushes himself up on the edge of the pool with his fists, and he's standing there with his cloak on, with these two kids in the distance, the boy and the girl, and the music. It's superhero. It's comic book. That is such a beautiful comic book image, and it basically just tells you everything. So yeah, I really love that. And then of course we get the realization at the end, the Shyamalan twist. And we find out the whole reasons. I'm not going to say the reasons because there might be people that haven't watched Unbreakable, but that'd be like spoiling the end of Sixth Sense, wouldn't it? his other fantastic movie. So yes, thoroughly enjoyed it. As I say, I haven't seen it for quite a while. Now that I've done with Unbreakable, I've got time now, being the second day, the next day, to slip in Split into the Blu-ray player and watch it for the first time since it came out. So even though I've got the Blu-ray, this will be the first time viewing on the Blu-ray, so I'll be able to comment on what I think of the home release. So anyway, let's stop waffling. Let's get Split in the player. Let's split the player, and I'll give you my little review afterwards. Okay, and the main difference between my Panasonic BDT, I keep forgetting the name of it, it's the BDT 700. The main difference is that on this player, this Panasonic, there's no eject button on the handset, which means I've got to get up. But I'd have to get up to put the bloody disc in anyway, lazy bastard. Right, so there's the disc ready to go. So, okay, so here's the other player. I don't know if you can get a good look at it. As I say, it's Panasonic. There's the, where's the number? There's the model, which, as I say, was a 2.1 cinema system. But I haven't got the speakers attached. I am just using the amplifier and the speakers connected through the HDMI. It does take a little longer for the disc to come out, and actually I've got Valerian, so that was when I was testing it about an hour ago. I was testing it to make sure that the 3D was good. So in we go with Split. Oh yes, baby. Okay, so I have just finished Split. Oh yes. Oh, I forgot how good that film is. Oh, fantastic. Really good picture quality on this as well, consider I'm using it on an 8-year-old Blu-ray player. And the sound was just fantastic. Yes, so the story is about this chappie here. Kevin Wendell Crumb, played brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly, by James McAvoy, who has 23 other personalities, and we don't get to see all these other personalities. We only get, I think we get to see 8. So we've got all these other personalities that we might see in Glass, which will be really good. And he basically kidnaps these 3 teenage girls in like a supermarket car park, takes them to this underground network of rooms and stuff, and imprisons them basically in these rooms with locks on the door and all that kind of stuff. So it's basically a story about these 3 teenage girls that are trying to get out of this place, and they get involved with all these other personalities, these other 8 personalities. So when they're communicating with one of these personalities, the next time they see them, it's another personality. So it's very cleverly done. Some of the other personalities are quirky. There's Hedwig, who's like a 9-year-old boy. There's Patricia, who is a bit like Pauline. So, oh yes, darling, very proper, very well spoken. And there's also Dennis as well, which is kind of the one that's kind of like controlling things down in these tunnels. And all the other personalities, you know, answer to him, and a little bit scared of him. There's also this one other personality called the Beast, which you don't get to see until the end of the film, and they're all afraid of the Beast. But it's really good. It's really good. I like the way the Beast manifests himself. That all of these personalities, all played by the same actor, don't all necessarily have the same type of characteristics and physical attributes. The Beast certainly doesn't. And with the Beast, it goes beyond just keeping these 3 girls captive in this underground network of tunnels and that. in these rooms. There is also a backstory as well. It's primarily about Casey Cook, who's played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who's the main teenage girl that the main story is focused on. And it's a backstory about when she was a little girl, when she went camping with her dad and her uncle. And they keep showing us flashbacks of Casey and her uncle when she was a little girl. And you can kind of see why, because at the moment in these underground caverns, you know, she's helpless, she's alone, she's scared, and you kind of feel that's how she felt back then. I mean, you have to watch the film to understand what the backstory, you know, the flashbacks are about. And the Beast does reveal himself towards the end of the film, and we get to see that brilliant little cameo that got everybody talking towards the end of the film. So yes, Split, brilliant film. As I say, I haven't seen it since I saw it at the cinema, so that's the first time I've seen that. And also Unbreakable. Now, I know from some of the scenes and the trailer and everything in Glass, we've got all these three together. So we've got David Dunn, we've got Elijah, and we've also got the Beast in this like mental institute or something. And I know probably David will go up against the Beast. I would like to see David kick the shit out of Dennis while Patricia watches. That should be quite fun. Yes, so I am really looking forward to watching this now. Now that it's all fresh in my mind again, because as I say, it's been a while since I've seen them. So now that it's nice and fresh, on Friday I'll be going to see The Glass, and hopefully it'll be really good. Hopefully we'll have a really good trilogy. I know there's a lot of reviewers, a lot of critics at the moment that have said, oh, it's not very good. It's not a very good film. Piss off, critics. No one listens to you. No one gives a shit about what you think. We go and see the film because we want to go and see it. So, piss off. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little 2-day road to Glass. Like the video by giving it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe because you know you want to. And I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye, everybody!